Welcome and welcome back to World's End Tarot. Today I have a reading for you, a pick a card reading for you, and the question I'm asking the cards today is, what is holding you back? So if you already know about pick a card readings, I have this card as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you don't know about pick a card readings, I want you to pause the video and take a moment, breathe in slowly, out slowly 3 times while you look at the cards, and eventually I want you to choose the one that is calling to you. I'm going to be putting the timestamps for each reading in the description box below. I will see you there. Hi Group 1, so this is your reading. And what is holding you back right now? Okay, these are the cards of someone who is feeling really stuck, and particularly someone who's feeling really confused. It feels as if there is a time recently where you felt like you couldn't see things as they truthfully were. This is what's coming through with this reversal of the Truth card here, but also with the 8 of Cups. I mean, traditionally this is a card of like leaving things behind which are no longer serving you, and for many of you that's going to be something that resonates. But in this reading, how it's coming across to me is that this is someone, particularly with the World card combined with this is someone who was feeling very unable to see a situation in its true clarity. And this is coming over with the Hanged Man, particularly at the center of your spread right now. The Hanged Man, you can see, doesn't have like a face in the illustration. And I feel like that's a lot to do with this feeling of unable to see things clearly and feeling quite stuck because of that. So that's coming across, this feeling of just not being able to like see things from like above in like a global sense with this World card, like the bigger picture, to make choices and decisions and to go forward with plans that the Success card here in reversal. There are plans that you had that you didn't understand how you could make them come into fruition, that you couldn't like see how to get to the place that you really were like striving to get to. And there was this really just this chaotic energy coming around you right now. Or maybe even before. It feels like this is something that's in the present. I'll say that right now, like what's holding you back right now. It just feels like a chaotic time right now. If this was your spread and this is what you are resonating with. To be honest with you, these 2 cards for me coming up right now, this is really truly about the last 18 months with the pandemic and just that feeling of like everything's turned around and I don't know if I can see through, but like it feels like this is way bigger than me and I don't know what to do. I feel like stuck and I feel like I can't move my way through this without it being really confusing, and I feel kind of lost. I want to just quickly go over the cards on the left hand side of the spread as well, because they're much more positive, and I feel like, funnily enough, usually I don't know, like I'm trying to be like careful with my words. This is a positive aspect of the reading, and it's really important because it's just as strong as this confusion, and so they're going to be linked in a certain way. Let's try and decipher this together. So Queen of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, an adventure card coming up here. This is really positive, and I feel like this is where you were at before this section of like unable to move through like was coming in. You were planning ahead. You had faith that that combination of planning and intuitive, personalized honesty, like really centered authenticity with your method of making things happen, that industrious hard work, that methodic hard work, and expectation and planning ahead. Like this was a long-term strategy and it was working for you, and you knew that it was something that needed time to come into its own. And this was just coming from a place of honesty and like maturity, and yeah, like truly, like, so you're very, like, it's a very centered feeling here. So, and then combined with the adventures, it just felt like the world was your oyster. And then this energy comes into it and it's like the stick, like, and I feel like what's holding you back right now with this is that in a way the last 18 months have really made you question what this was, like if this is something you're still capable of. And because some of the things that you were able to do before are just not quite as achievable, and it doesn't, it's almost as if things that were working before just are no longer relevant, like whatever that means for you, like in terms of how we were working before as to how we're working now, that has affected the way that you were going around your life. And right now you're in a period where you feel really stuck and confused. And that makes a lot of sense. I want to get a little clarifier on these cards here, just because, I mean, I can feel why you're stuck. I mean, I can really empathize with this. Just, it's almost as if like things that were like, it's almost as if you're like really good in the room, and like it feels like if that's something that's changed into being a more online meeting, that like it just doesn't do it for you. Okay, Four of Wands. I want to like display these a certain way. So like, okay, I have Four of Wands here. Hold on a minute. Four of Wands coming up here. Let's see. It's, yeah, so like I was just okay, yeah. I'm getting distracted. Yeah, I mean, from literally what came to mind just now was like this idea that you were really good in the room, and that that was like in the sort of physical sense, and then as soon as like meetings in the room weren't actually a thing that happens anymore, and it's like Zoom meetings or like emails and stuff, the disconnection was part of the reason that you were like, what? I don't understand, because you were connecting with people in like such a like profound way when you're in person with them, and that was building these relationships and this long-term strategy. I feel, for a lot of you this is about business, but it could also be about relationships, and it could also be about just a general feeling of like yourself as a person in the planet, like, you know, on the planet, like you are someone who was really, you were thriving in a certain way before this issue of feeling stuck was coming into it. And it really feels like this was something that's come from the outside world, and that's why I'm saying like for most of you this is going to be about the pandemic, and it's suddenly just like you can't connect with people in the way that you were connecting before, and it's really like, it's really got you stuck because the things that were working before, just, they're not relevant. They're just not relevant anymore in the right way. And the connection that you got when you were with people, it's just not available to you in the same way anymore. Yeah. Okay, so let me see with these clarifier cards, like with the tarot here. So Four of Wands coming up on adventures, and yeah, I mean, for me, this is still this. You had a solid way that was working for you. It felt very much in the right realm of creativity and like in the real world, like really, truly. This is a time for you to rethink your strategies. That's what's coming up here with this Ace of Swords. It's truly a time to rethink your strategies. This stuck energy that you're in, it cannot be helped. For like the outside forces are big, and it truly feels like this is an external problem as opposed to something that's internal, although you've been affected quite profoundly by it internally. And this is this idea of, if you're wanting to get through and continue this project that you were building on, this relationships that you were building on, you know, however this is manifesting with this authenticity and being like with people in the same place, that no longer is able to happen. Like this card here is about reassessing and rethinking, coming up with new strategies, very new strategies, because I mean, just on a basic level, the 7 is like, that was working and it was happening. Ace is back down to the beginning and from a completely different angle because it's a completely different suit. So it's like, yeah, no, it's time to reassess your entire strategy about how you approach the issue that you are being held back by. So the old methods just don't work anymore. Page of Cups as well. It's interesting with the Queen of Cups energy, and this feels like the past, and this is to do with the future or the current circumstances. Like that's coming in for me right now. Page of Cups is maybe about accessing a more childish energy. That might actually be a way to resolve. Like, it's almost as if it's like going back to basics. So you really can't affect the whole world around you. We are only like an individual within the circumstances that we find ourselves in. And this energy here is so fast moving, and it doesn't really feel like it's going to end anytime soon. Although I must admit, with this 8 of Cups, I actually really like this card because there is hope. Like, it's almost as if there's light at the end of the tunnel. This figure can see the stars in the sky as he's walking through. And that's, I think, what we're charming into here with the Page of Cups. This Page of Cups energy here. I think a childlike wonder, an open-mindedness, a kindness. Okay, so, you know, things are not what they were, and you feel stuck, and it's time to look for new strategies to get through that feel uncomfortable and feel very new. And the Page of Cups energy is here telling you that this is something that is best approached with a creativity, with a open-mindedness, with an honesty and authenticity, and something that's a little bit more, I want to say purer, like, than the Queen of Cups energy. It's almost like, it's like that playful, childish energy that's not so mature and not so, it doesn't judge as much. It's like much more experimental with its approach. And I feel like that's coming up here with advice about how to move forward. And this is like something that will help. It's almost as if letting things happen and not taking it like so seriously in the moment, or like being able to adapt a lot quicker. That's coming up here. And I think this is like not expecting things to be as they were all the time, and just like the adaptation. This is coming up here for me. I just want to take one more card from the oracles for like advice about how to move forward. Wow, okay, so this just jumped out here, taking risks. Okay, I feel like this is speaking to the Ace of Swords energy here, and the Page of Cups as well. Taking risks right now. You need to try new things. You need to try new ways, new avenues around your problem. What was working before no longer feels relevant. It was working before then because times were very different then. You're working with a lot of different energies. You're working with a lot of different just situations. Like, they are different now, and taking risks is the way that you get through this. You have the strength and the ability to do that, to take up the sword and to take yourself through and be your own hero, to take risks that feel really scary, but also like ultimately you know deep down that those risks are healthier for you, and that is the way to get through this. It's just to keep moving forward towards the stars that you're seeing in the horizon, and to be at one with the feeling of flying through something that you've never really seen before, really something that you've never really allowed yourself to experience, like just a lot of new stuff, a lot of, yeah, taking risks, like truly, not crazy risks, but risks that make sense. Like, and I feel like risks is coming up here as not like a physical risk, like doing like things that are physically dangerous, but really like an emotional risk, like putting yourself out there, feeling vulnerable and a little bit raw, and maybe a little bit less finessed than you used to in the past. This page energy feels like, you know, back to basics in a way, like, you know, go make friends, like go experience things you haven't experienced before, go be vulnerable with people and be creative and take those risks. So yeah, thank you so much, group one. I hope that was resonating with who that needed to resonate with. If you enjoyed my reading and would like to see more, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you here. And if not, I will see you again soon. Bye. Hello, group two. This is your spread for the question, what is holding you back right now? Whew, okay, so it's a little, there's something happening in this area of the spread which is pretty curious to me. So it feels like you've been feeling really stuck, and it's funny because this feels very linked to the reading I just did for group one, where this is to do with changing careers in a certain way, or just like the knowledge that a certain part of your life has come to an end. Now with the other reading, you can go and click on that one and have a look, because it's much more to do with the situation over the last couple of years with the pandemic, and just like how that changed up a lot of our lifestyles and our lives and our choices and our like the way that we were weighing up our priorities. Here I feel like you've been feeling really stuck and in a place where I feel, particularly like for most of you, this is to do with working a job that felt like it wasn't going anywhere, that you just felt really stuck in this thing, like it just was something that you needed to do to get money, and like that was fine for them, like for a while, like it's been a while. And maybe at first it was something that you were really interested in learning about, like something could, I mean, I'm saying a job, for a lot of you it's a job, it is about earning money, but it could even be for like something like that you're studying, and you felt at first as you were taking up this job or this study or this project that it felt really interesting to you, and it felt like something that you were really like just enjoying. And now it almost feels as if like you don't really quite recognize that person that you were when you were making those choices, and now you're getting to a place where you just feel really stuck, and it feels like that particular part of your journey is coming to an end. And I feel like that might be why we're asking, like, what is holding you back right now? Because it feels like you're in the moment just before the leap into new things. And I'm telling you right now, if that is resonating with you, what we have on this spread currently is looking really positive for making a change and doing something that's different and gives you a lot more passion with your journey. Because right now what I'm getting here, the Six of Swords energy, which is right in the center of your spread, and is the card that you will have picked if you were resonating with it at the beginning of my video. Six of Swords energy is coming up with this feeling of movement. It's coming up with a feeling of risk and like, ooh, kind of nervy energy, but it's in a good way. It's like a really interesting, positive change. The clarifying oracle card underneath it is potential, and there is such a beautiful theme of this blue starry night coming through with this this energy. And I just love how that it feels, just like it makes it feels like when you're a kid and you go camping, and there's just like you feel connected with yourself as a human being, like looking at the night sky and feeling the cold air. There's something of just this feeling of feeling alive and the potential that you have, and the energies and the stories that you are going to be able to tell about yourself, like in the future. Like that's this feeling of movement coming through the deck is coming. So it's nice to see this, because this stuck energy, it just feels like it's coming to the end, like a really natural progression. And I know that some people freak out when they see the death card, really don't want you to freak out. With this card, it just feels like the ending of a particular project, and this lack of freedom, this just feeling stuck and not being able to do what you needed to do, which, to be honest with me, is, you know, I do feel like that for most of you, it's going to be linked with this feeling of feeling stuck indoors and feeling stuck in the situation, that whatever situation you find yourself in at the beginning of March 2020. It's just that kind of thing, and it's just the time, this energy, this season of renewal, and this season of reprioritizing your goals and being honest with yourself, communicating to yourself about where you want to go next. So yes, it makes sense that you're feeling stuck, but I'm telling you right now, this feeling is there for a reason. It is telling you that it's time to communicate with yourself and make choices about what you want to do with the potential that the universe is telling you that you have, that you should be tapping into, and that you're ready to move into. Because on this other side of the spread we have here, again, another really positive sign of new journeys coming up here with the Fool. And then with the Queen of Pentacles, I have strong indications that whatever new goal, new journey, new change of path that you are currently considering, the Queen of Pentacles is telling me that this is a very positive, fruitful, calm realization of your goals. Like, it's such a good indication that this is the right journey for you to take, that it's going to be something that results in a good quality of life, like a resourceful, very like, she's kind of got a lot of, Queen of Pentacles, she's almost as if she's like a more practical energy, like in, as the Empress. So it's a very strong, like Taurian Venus kind of card of really indulging and feeling very like plentiful, and a theme of abundance happening here. So it's indication, like if we're talking about, for some of you, a career change or going into a profession and learning about it, or even just moving to a different country, or like into a relationship with a new person, there is indication that this is a really healthy, positive choice, that this journey, although being very, very much in the infancy of the journey, it will result in a really beautiful life that you deserve to have. And this is really being punctuated by this clarification card here on the Oracle with this relaxation. It really tells me that this Queen of Pentacles energy is strong with whatever choices that you feel like you need to be making. It's funny because I feel like the stuck energy, that like what is holding you back right now, it's almost as if like your circumstances are, but that just feels like it's about to change. Like there's so much energy towards changing that it's almost as if I'm like, you're not actually stuck as you think you are. Like that isn't necessarily coming across here. There really is a lot of indication from the universe that the time is coming for, whether or not you do it yourself or whatever, like the change is going to happen no matter what you're whatever you're feeling stuck with. This change is coming, like whether you want it or not, it's coming. Like, and I think that most of us would want this because these cards are really pretty. So I am going to ask my tarot to just like give me a little bit more information about the clarification. I'll do a clarifier on a clarifier, as it were, for these other cards coming up with freedom. Wow, the Emperor. Okay, wow. Okay, cool. This is, oh, it's so curious. This deck is curious. In fact, if anything, I feel really positive reading for your group right now. It's, wow, Hermit. Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know that this is just really interested by your spread group too. I feel really positive reading it too, which is nice. This feels like a really exciting energy. Could be that I've had one too many cups of coffee, but I'm going to believe it's the energy. Oh, yay, 9 of Pentacles. Relaxation. Okay, this is really nice. Oh, right. So here, first of all, this is interesting here. This Emperor energy with this lack of freedom and the feeling that we were talking about before, about feeling stuck. Emperor is about rules quite a lot of the time. It's also about heavy masculine energy. So in some respects, for me, for some of you, this is coming through as like a boss or a father figure or a mentor. And it just feels as if there's two messages here. For some of you, it's almost as if there's a restrictive energy that has not been serving you, and it feels like you want to break through from that. Just feels like there's like it's like almost as if there might be an overbearing boss or an overbearing like parent figure, or you have felt very constricted by the idea of like the rules that you've had to live under for a really long time. So it kind of comes in through with this like the freedom card below being in reverse. And And then there's another section for you where this is actually coming up as you guys yourselves. It's like you want to write your own rules. Like, it's time for you to stop listening to other people. Well, not like quite like that, but I mean, it's like you want to become your own boss. So I feel like for some of you, some of you are starting your own businesses, actually. That's coming across here. You want to be the person in control of your own life. You don't want to work for other people. It doesn't feel like that's as fruitful as it was before. It felt like you either were like super excited going into something, like you were like, oh, this is like, I really want to learn how to do this thing. And you've slowly become a little bit more jaded about it. It's just not quite what you thought it was, or it's not like lining up with the things that you want to prioritize now. And for a lot of you, that's going to come through as being your own boss as well. So I hope that makes sense. And I want to move on here to the Six of Swords energy combined with the Hermit and the Potential. So this is a little bit of advice as opposed to a clarification for me. This is coming up a similar, so in order for you to decide what to do, you need to take some time to really consider it. This is asking you not to be rash. It's asking you to be mindful. And I feel like that's actually quite a lovely way to have both these cards coming up together on the same section of our reading. The Emperor and the Hermit speaking to one another here about making plans and being really mindful about what the direction is that you need to take, and being really authentic with yourself and like what you need. It's also necessary for some of you. This is also a thing where it's saying maybe on your journey you're going to feel quite alone at times, that's okay, but it's almost as if it's saying, you know, that your path is actually like the path less taken. So you're gonna have some time on this journey where you feel a little bit out of the crowd. And I feel like this is telling me that that's okay. That's just part of your potential, like coming through, that is required for many people to like take a step back from what is expected of them and to reassess what is like true to them and what they need to do, what their life's journey is, because ultimately we all have free will. So like, oh gosh, sorry, I kicked the stand. We all have free will, and so you need to take responsibility for the way that you live your life, the choices that you make. I feel like the Hermit and the Potential and this Six of Swords energy here, it's coming through, you know, with a reminder that like it's going to feel lonely sometimes, or it's going to be a situation where you're working alone a lot. And that is just part of your journey. That's just something that's required for you to do if this is what your life plan is, if this is what you want, this new direction. So I guess it's saying, like, why am I feeling stuck? I mean, what is holding you back? Not much, honestly. Not much. Just the feeling I'm getting is like this is something that's just over. It's very much, you are about to have a point where, well, I guess you have to be brave. Don't get stuck in your own head about it too much. Like, this is part of your journey, just trust in it. And then coming into the second part of this spread with the Fool, the Queen of Pentacles, the relaxation, and the Nine of Pentacles, there's just so much good vibes happening here about this being the right choice for you, about this being something that's going to lead to a good amount of income, and truly a really wholesome sense of calm, relaxation, of happiness, of enjoying what you have worked for and what you have achieved. It's a gorgeous sign that whatever movement needs to happen here, that the movement is worth it, and taking the time out to prioritize and to really sort of tap in with what you need to do now, with what your potential really is going to be leading to something that's super exciting and ultimately leads to a really good quality of life. Just going to ask for one last card for advice going forward with this this question, like, what is holding you back and what can we do about it? Leadership. Wow. Okay. So when I was saying before about some of you going into a business where you're your own boss, that's coming through again. I just love it. I feel that this is an invitation to be your own boss. Like, and it doesn't have to be in a business sense. I think this is about really leading yourself. Like, what do you want and how do you get it? And lead yourself there. Move through that feeling of wanting to be in control of what your destiny is. Make choices that are good for you, that are aligning with your values, and that lead you to the life that you wish to lead. It's just beautiful. It's gorgeous advice. So yeah, I guess if you're feeling stuck, I guess this is the universe's way of telling you you are in control of more than you believe, and you are very capable of making choices that will lead you to the life that you deserve to have. So thank you so much, Group 2, for joining me today. If you enjoyed this reading and would like to see more, please subscribe to my channel. I will be uploading regularly, and I would love to see you back here. So thank you. Bye. Hello, Group 3. This is your reading for the question, what is holding me back? You have a very interesting spread. So I don't know where to start. So, well, the first thing I want to comment on is this Devil card and this Five of Wands card coming through. Particularly the Five of Wands, this feels much more relevant. And along here with the World and the Openness card, which is overturned. Oh. Okay. So what is holding you back? Right now, it's almost as if you're coming from a place where you have felt extremely closed off, and like there's been a lot of friction. It's a shame. The last two readings I've done, it's the pandemic has come up again and again and again, and I feel like it's coming up again here. With the World card, the Five of Wands, and the Openness card in reverse. It's like this period of time where you're coming out now into this new season where it's a place of you're ready to sit and look at the truth and to make decisions that are going to cleanse out a lot of the negative energy that you seem to have collected over the last couple of years. That's what I'm reading here with this. This is what's happening here. This feels very much like this is the stuff that has kept you stuck. Fighting conflict. This can be with loved ones. This can be within work. This can be fighting for yourself to be heard. This can be fighting within a world that feels very chaotic and busy and just like turning through it, and you hadn't been able to get like a foothold to understand exactly where you were showing up in this place. I get that with the clarification oracle card here with the Openness card in reverse. It's just like, it's almost as if there wasn't space for you to really sit and feel like you knew where you were. Everything felt like it was happening around you, and like you felt like you just had to like take up arms and push your way through to get what you needed at the time. And it's almost as if we're coming out now of that like survival mode where things have become to they've come to settle a lot more, and now you're kind of looking around and going like, whoa, what happened? Like, what do I want? Like, what am I doing? Like, this is a perfect time to be asking yourself what's holding you back. This is a perfect time for you to set intentions for the year coming in 2022, because this work is required a few months before we actually enter the new year. And this is what's coming through. This is something that's going to take a while for you to get to, but it's looking good. So the Illumination card in the center, this is the card that you were attracted to when you clicked on group number 3. For me, this card, it is very much about looking at the truth and seeing the truth as is without judgment. And that's so interesting because the clarifier for the coming up underneath this card is purity. And if anything, that is like a reflection of the illumination card. Purity is talking to us about the painful past that we may have had, the darkness of the winter is changing into, well, this card particularly speaks about the first snow. So it's almost as if you had this horrible dark winter feeling where things just felt super dark and unclear, and the first snow comes and the light bounces off around, and it's like you can see things clearly for the first time again. And there's a spirit of renewal, even though things are still feeling pretty cold and like very immediately after a time of darkness. The spirit of renewal is all around us. And I feel like this card here with purity and illumination are speaking to each other about that you're now coming into a place where, yes, you have been feeling really stuck, and that is no surprise, because this energy here felt really a lot bigger than you. And it was bigger than you. But this illumination card has this tiny little cat here, this little figure here, and it's like a tiny little cat in a huge world, or a wolf in a huge forest. They can see clearly for the first time because there's space to see things clearly, and that process has to happen for you to come out on the other side. You have learned lessons here that you needed to take yourself through to a more enlightened life, and to start replanning for the next stage of your life, to get unstuck in the way that you have felt stuck. That stuff it's starting to change. The settling has happened, and it's like the change of season is now upon us, and we are able to actually start making plans for the future ahead. It's a little complicated for you. It's almost as if you had demons to slay, and I'm really getting that through with the Knight of Swords and the Devil card combined here. Like, they feel like they're talking to me again. They're also talking to blessings, which is curious, but we'll get into that in a minute. So the Knight of Swords energy here, this is someone who speaks the truth to power, or speaks the truth to themselves. Like, when they have inner demons, you have inner demons to slay. You have collected inner demons and beliefs that are not true, not serving you, have come from a place where you were panicky, you were feeling confused, there was a lack of truth happening around you, there was confusion, you weren't sure who to believe, who to trust, who to be yourself with. Things felt very much like they were closing in, and it just wasn't a true time where you were able to have the space to really sort of be yourself. And I feel like that's what's happening now. Like, we are becoming unstuck, or at least you need to take that time to become unstuck and to really sort of intuitively tap into yourself. This is the universe reminding you that that's something you need to choose to do, and that you're very capable of doing. With the Knight of Swords energy, it's like again with a purity energy here too, like these are talking to each other for me at the minute. They are saying this is about clearing out the old stuff, the old belief system, the old, I mean, honestly, it could even be physical, but a lot of it's going to be mental because of the sword stuff. But it could be physically, like clearing out your home and getting everything ready in a way that feels pure to you. That's like, I'm not saying minimalism, I'm just like saying things that serve you should be around you, things that make you feel happy should be around you, things that are reminding you of a time where you weren't like really, you know, maybe necessarily feeling like your most self, like your most like powerful self. Like, that's not necessarily, it's like, I'm trying to how to word this. Basically, the Devil's coming in here as I'm speaking, and it's saying there were things that were coming up during this time of feeling stuck, that the Devil was like the Devil card, I'm not substituting the Devil himself, and absolutely not. We're talking about the energies of the card of the tarot, of the Devil card of the tarot. And the Devil card in the tarot deck symbolizes things like, sometimes like things that are untoward happening, people that are a bad influence to us, but it can also talk to us about things that are within ourselves, overindulgence, things like, you know, binge watching TV or staying in bed too long, or like eating a lot of sugar. These kinds of things are coming up, and I feel like for a lot of us, like this way of coping with things that were feeling overwhelming was to indulge a little bit too much with this Devil aspect of ourselves. And it's like the Devil's reminding me that there is like some energies that we need to start to really combat, because it's speaking to this Knight of Swords energy, saying like we have belief systems which are not serving us, we have habits which are not serving us, And this was related to the time we have been feeling stuck, because partly we've been making ourselves stuck ourselves through the actions and choices that we've been having. And we've been making choices for ourselves that haven't really been serving us and haven't been making us feel good. It's funny because the blessings card is really linked to both of these things. So what it's saying to me is we need more balance in our approach to looking after ourselves and to reprioritizing things that are useful to us. We need to take stock of what things we have that really are truthfully wonderful. We do have blessings in our lives, and I think for some of us we may be in a state of mind where we're not actually being as grateful as we could be about the things that are working for us. And I think that is all part of this Illumination Purity card. You won't only see the things that aren't working for you, you are also going to see the things that do work for you. And the Devil and the Knight of Swords here, and with the blessings as a clarifier, is asking for you to really really do the work that leads you to have a better balanced approach to the way that you're living your life. This is going to be achieved through really looking at it and at your circumstances, at the way that you're engaging with your inner thoughts and your intuition, and being honest about what actually does work for you, what things are making you feel better, and making sure that we're not overindulging in those things. It is about balance. I want to do some more tarot cards on these oracle clarifiers, just to confirm or enlighten us further to the messages that I was receiving here. Openness is coming up with 8 of Pentacles. Okay, just a minute, I want to do all 3 and then I'll talk about them. Purity coming up with 3 of Pentacles. Well, that one's been coming up a lot today with all the other readings too. That's interesting. And last one for blessings, please. Ooh, this really popped out there. 6 of Swords. Oh my gosh, there's 2. What's going on here? That's really curious because the 6 of Swords came up from the last one, and we also have the 10 of Swords reversed. Okay, so this is really interesting. Okay. So, 8 of Pentacles here with the openness in reverse, the World, the 5 of Wands. Pardon for the train, we live by a train track. 8 of Pentacles. Gosh, okay. An elimination. Let me think. Ooh, yeah, this is the one that's speaking to me first. I'm curious about this one. Yeah. Oh gosh, okay, so I'm a little sad, and it's because for quite a lot of you, there's a reason that you felt stuck, and it's because when things started happening a couple years ago, you were actually in a position where you were feeling really accomplished, and you had been building on something that you really cared about, that was really fundamentally aligned with you. And for whatever reason, the events happening around you, the confusion happening around you, the chaos happening around you, and the lack of feeling able to really connect with yourself and others in the way that you could have done before really affected you. I'm not surprised it did, and I can actually really recognize where that would have resulted in feeling really stuck, because it was almost as if the old ways of working were just no longer serving you, were no longer working, and it was confusing. And I feel like for some of you, you were really battling to continue to get this stuff working, and for a lot of you that has not worked, or at least you've come into a place where you feel like you have there was damage done, and you've had to step back and rebuild again back to where you were before. That's what's coming up with this 3 of Pentacles. This is almost as if where you are now and this is where you were before. So I can see why you felt stuck. It's almost as if you're comparing what you used to have compared to what you have now. And I feel that can be a bit demoralizing, but really, you gotta do it. Like, this time to rethink and to see what you have and to feel the blessings for what you have, and to actually combat the things that were not working for you and were a coping mechanism before that are now starting to sabotage something. It's almost as if it's saying, look, there was reasons that you felt that way and they were valid, and almost as if now it's the time to be a little bit more realistic about your responsibility in this place as well. You have the ability to work hard. You have the tools. You've done it before. You have the tools. You've done it before. And I have to repeat that. Like, you've done it before. You know you can do it again. It's just, I think that you're going to need to have a little bit of an honest moment with yourself about, are you being as grateful for what you have as you could be? Are you being as combative as you could be with the negative thought systems that you have managed to produce? Are you being as indulgent as you actually should be? Like, should you maybe calm down with that stuff a bit? It can speak of addiction too, but I'm not really seeing it as an addiction thing. I'm seeing it as overindulgence. And then here again with these clarifiers, like Six of Swords energy, like movement. Yes, like you have more ability to move than you had before. Like, there isn't this feeling of feeling stuck and out of alignment and like fighting. Like, there is movement beginning here. I feel like it's very linked in with the Purity card and the Illumination card, the Six of Swords energy coming up here with blessings. It's you have more movement. You have like, literally, you're able to move an awful lot more now. You have more freedom. So this idea of feeling stuck and in your own head is something that you can actually begin to challenge an awful lot more. And the Ten of Swords here in reverse, to me, this is about, right, you know, you might feel like you have come to a place that like you are stuck and that all is lost and that your ideas are not like working and that there's many things that are working and you're tired. This is telling me that it's time to release that. I feel like you have been choosing to see things a certain way that, you know, are actually not necessarily the case. They could have been true and they feel emotionally true, but I think that the blessings card is truly reminding us to practice to practice gratitude for what we have got and what we can change. This is an invitation to take more responsibility for your emotional life than maybe you were capable of doing before. You have more energy and more time. You can move through this thought pattern. And it's time to let go of that negative energy that's coming through here. I'm going to ask the Oracle one more card for advice for moving forward for group 3, because we need some advice. Like, please tell us, how can we move through this feeling of feeling stuck? Let me see. Here she is. Wow. Okay. Gateway. This is an invitation to go into your intuition and your subconscious and move through the feeling that you have been having. This is something that you have control over. This is something that you are able to change. This is about being really honest about your situation and making the moves that you need to make. You are capable. Okay, thanks so much for coming, group 3. If you like this reading, please subscribe and I will see you again soon. Bye. Hello, group 4. This is your reading for what is holding me back right now. I'm gonna say, like, this, when I first pulled out these cards, was a little bit of a head scratcher. These don't really feel like the cards of someone who's truly feeling stuck, which is super curious for me. First of all, we have this is the card that you were attracted to, just so you know, this Ace of Pentacles card when you chose. And the clarifier oracle underneath this is power. This is a time where you are being invited by the universe to step into your power. This card, power particularly, it tells us that it may feel uncomfortable and like a little bit treacherous even to step out into something that is essentially an unknown. But when I'm reading it with the Ace of Pentacles, I'm getting a very clear feeling that this is very much the right move. I feel like it's a message coming through about following things that really, like, truly in your gut feel correct. Because the Ace of Pentacles here with the door stepping through, the idea of stepping into your power, it just feels like if you allow yourself to receive these messages and follow your gut, that this is just going to result in something really positive. And I'm getting that from the rest of the spread. I want to talk a little bit about High Priestess and the Page of Pentacles as well, before we move on to this side of the spread, particularly in relation to the Release card. I mean, this is a message of now, because the Release card for me is truly coming up. I'm really resonating with this as the feeling of the seasonal change in the air right now, welcoming autumn and fall into our lives, and the feeling of a subtle renewal, preparation for the winter. And yeah, releasing things that we discovered about ourselves during the summer that aren't of use anymore, that some negative feelings or things that have come and ended, part of the circular and seasonal relationship that a tree has with the leaves turning to red and gold and falling from their branches. Like there's a feeling of that happening with ourselves. I wonder if some of the reason why you're feeling stuck is maybe because, or what you need to let go of, just the idea that you need to keep holding on to all the things that, like, you want things around you. Like, I actually wonder if some of you are hoarding a little bit, like you just have a little bit, there's like too much stuff, or just like even clothes that don't fit anymore, that's coming through. And I feel like quite a lot of you are in a place where like you have a lot to offer and you have like a lot around you. Like you're in a position of, you actually have quite a lot of stuff. Like I'm feeling that with the Page of Pentacles. The High Priestess is asking you to take a moment in your psyche, in your intuition, to really work out where you need to go. It's funny that that's coming up again, because that has been not the High Priestess herself, like this is a very strong energy to take stock in your intuition, but the idea of taking stock in our intuition has come up in all of the readings, and so I'm wondering if this is particularly why you're attracted to tarot readings right now. And I would suggest with the High Priestess card that particularly if you have your own tarot deck, that you need to actually do some readings personally, because this is obviously a more general reading, but this is an indication that you are in a position where you can inform yourself of the messages that you really need to hear right now, even more than somebody else like myself is able to do. And I would invite you, if you have your own deck, or if you're able to access a tarot reader and get a personalized spread, that I would actually do that, because I feel like you're at a moment, like there's a precipice kind of moment here that you have some limiting beliefs that are holding you back from actually stepping through this thing. It's like you feel like it's the right choice to make, and there's something holding you back. And I feel like it's to do with the pattern that you've got yourself into, the way that you've been living your life up until this point. There are messages here saying release that old, there's old energy here that you need to step away from. The High Priestess is moving away as well, which I feel in this thing, in this spread. There's a stepping away from things that feel like they're in the past, like you've learned the lessons, and it's time to move on. The Page of Pentacles, yeah, okay. So for some of you, you have received an awful lot from the universe, and this is a gift ultimately right now that you are receiving from the universe. This is information that you need to hear. For others, it's a time to give. So funnily enough, if you are resonating with the idea that you have a lot of stuff that is no longer serving you around your home, I would suggest that now is a good time to assess which items might be more profitable being given to charity or to other people who need it more than you, than for you to keep hold of that stuff yourself. that feels like a very sort of good way for you to, if you're being held back by a large amount of stuff that you don't need, I mean, giving it away to those who need it is a really good way to cleanse that energy and release those things that are no longer serving you. Because it does come across as a very practical thing. And I wonder if the High Priestess coming in with this particularly practical energy actually might be to do with, maybe there's a lot of internal work that needs to happen as you clear out your things. Is there a lot of sentimentality about these things? Maybe it's from a time in your life that you no longer really feel you need to keep mementos from. There's some aspect of that happening here. So I wonder if for some of you, it might be like it will take a while, because energetically there's an awful lot of sentimentality happening. That often happens when we end up looking around us and we find that we have things that we just, like, remember enjoying at the time, buying something and using it, and then you look and you go, oh my gosh, yeah, I haven't worn that in 10 years, but I have it here because I don't want to give it away, but at the same time it really doesn't fit me, and I don't think it's ever going to fit me, and I think that it deserves to be with somebody who will appreciate it more. There's something happening here. That can actually be quite internal work, and it can take a while to go through things like that and be honest, because sometimes we have bought things when we've been in a time of pain, and the things that we have bought have made us feel quite safe. And so this idea that we are actually safe and that it is time to give away the things that have, you know, sometimes the service of the item itself was in our actual just purchasing it and feeling like we were enjoying it and it was a treat, and that almost is enough. It's almost like sometimes the gift that you give other people is not so much about what you're actually gifting them. You can usually just be about the actual action of gifting somebody something, and that is the act of giving a present as opposed to the present itself. It feels like that's happening here. I hope that makes sense. Ace of Pentacles here in the center. I just think this is like, why? Like, what do you need to let go of right now? Just this idea, like, that you're not capable of walking through these doors that you want to be walking through, like that you're not capable, that you don't have a power to decide your own choice, like your own destiny. Like, I feel like that's something that's keeping you back. It's like you're watching this door and it's saying, come to me, you have the power, and you're going, no, I don't, no. I want to stay with things that I feel more familiar with. I want to hold on to things that I feel familiar with. And there's just such an indication from the universe that it's time to let go. If we do let go, where do we go? You know, like, I want to know what other stuff is happening here with these. These cards are really curious to me, because this is the first time that the clarification cards came up with 2 cards in this area of the spread. They just jumped out, because when I opened up with the Fool and Justice card, I thought, oh, that's quite powerful. What's going on here? And then the clarifiers come in with delight and community. And I am going to say, for some of you, there is a new job, and that job is something that's going to give you so much, community. Like, it's going to give so much, a sense of well-being. It's truly, like, for me, it does feel quite creative. It feels as if, like, it's transient work. It could be volunteering in a community, or possibly, like, if you're a creative, it could be like a writer's retreat, or possibly if you're something like an actor or a performer, it could be like a play or a job, like that. You know, it's something that's to do with, there's such a childish energy coming through here with the Fool and Delight card, and also a sense of it being something quite official with the Justice card and the Community card. It feels, I mean, you could be working in something like a food bank, or a charity shop, but there are things like that where it's like you have a sense of responsibility, that there is a sense of right and wrong, and making, like, your actions actually do have quite a large potential for affecting those around you with the Justice card coming in here. It's a sense of, like, justice is this balancing act. Here we have this, like, you're getting bitten but you're cutting a snake in half. Like, it's like what you do has a consequence in an equal measure in the world. So this is, for me, this comes up quite often for contractual obligations. So that's why I'm feeling for many of you this is about work, or a particular job. And I don't have the feeling it's going to last very long, but I do have the feeling that it will provide you with this really wholesome sense of unity amongst other human beings on the planet, and that there will be a very clear feeling that this is something that it feels very authentic to you and very, very much tapping in, to the childish, delighting energy that I feel like you've been missing because you were set in your ways recently. And it's like you have been trying to, there's a scarcity mindset happening here and a lack of, it's like you knew how to do the thing, and it's like you don't want to start over doing a new thing. And I feel like this is actually the new thing here, and what would result if you do take those opportunities that are being offered to you, that you can go seek out as well. If they're not necessarily being offered to you in an obvious way, you can go seek this out. You can choose to walk through this door and become unstuck, because this does feel like a very practical energy coming through here with the applications for jobs, things like that, applications to join groups of people who have a similar mindset and a similar overall moral compass. Like there's going to be a lot of satisfaction found in that. So yeah, what do you need to let go of right now? I mean, I think we answered it here with this releasing. I mean, it's saying, you know, your old patterns of behavior are just not working out for you anymore. What made you feel safe before is just not really relevant in that way anymore. Time to step into new experiences, and even if it is a little intimidating, truthfully, on the other side, there's such fulfillment waiting to be had. So I would really advise that you search out these opportunities to find yourself in a community and find ways that you can help your community. It's coming up with that charitable energy too. I'm just wanting some clarification cards. 10 of Wands. Oh, wow. So yeah, okay, cool. I'm just going to pull all three of these cards up to access. Oh gosh, this is getting interesting now. Okay, come on. And one more. One more, please. 4 group. 4. Oh, the 2 just came out here. We had an 8 of Pentacles reversed and a 3 of Wands. Let me show you so I can see it on the camera. They're not coming up. Okay, so here with the release card, I have just pulled the 8 of Pentacles reversed and the 3 of Wands. Yeah, so I mean, this is confirming my interpretation that you were surrounding yourself with material goods that weren't really of service to you, and were particularly, it's funny, now this feels like even clearer to me. Particularly here with this idea that you should be releasing, and I was suggesting that a lot of the stuff can be given to charity because it's still, I mean, arguably valuable, but not to you. It just feels like you may have been buying stuff to feel safe, I think. And this is a reminder from the universe that that really is not actually being in touch with your intuition. That's just a distraction. With the High Priestess as well, I feel like the 3 of Wands is speaking to the High Priestess here, and it's saying the way for you to feel true safety is to create things. It's not to consume. And I think that this is part of the release that you need to be making, is like, am I consuming or am I creating? And do I truly get satisfaction that's long lasting from consuming? No, most of us don't. The invitation from the universe here in relation to the High Priestess is looking further within ourselves and then choosing to create things, even though they may not be like finessed, they may not be like a beautiful, amazing thing. The 3 here is talking of profound inner work, creating things that are of value to us and to serve our own goals and the way that we are spiritually connecting with ourselves. It is an act of love to ourselves to create things that are just truly in the sense of creating, to make something that we feel proud of, that we have made happen in the world, to see the effect that we have in the world when we do create things. And this can be any kind of creative endeavor, truly, like anything that you feel particularly drawn to at this time is something that will really feed your soul and remind you that consuming in the way that you have been doesn't keep you safe, doesn't make, you know, it's worry, it's anxiety. You need to release some things into the world that feel a lot more there's a longevity that this consumption has, like it just isn't there. Like releasing this need to consume and to hoard, it's not how you're going to find yourself connected with your soul. I feel like also there's an opportunity here to release some of this negative pent-up energy through the actual action of creativity. So possibly painting your feelings or writing and journaling your feelings. These kinds of things might be really useful. Going on walks into nature. I know that I say that quite a lot, but it's true. Like, I feel like with the High Priestess, there's an opportunity to go on beautiful like walks and just like feel yourself in the nature of like the fact of being alive. And I wonder if for some of you, taking some small pieces, like some small mementos from your walks, like whether it be like a shell from a beach or something, and bringing that into your art or bringing that into your space, just to see that and remind yourself that like you're not going to find happiness by buying things like at the store or at the shops. You're not going to find happiness in those things, but you are going to find happiness in the experiences that you're willing to build for yourself. Coming up here with the Ace of Pentacles and power was the Ten of Swords, and wow. Okay, now I understand how you've been feeling quite hurt. Okay, fine. Like, so this is coming from a place where you've been feeling stuck because you've tried things that have not been working for a really long time, and you were feeling really, really tired and really sad. And there's something good about this card coming up, because for me it indicates that part of that struggle is coming to an end now. And this Ace card right here, it's the beginning of a new cycle. Also the fact that this is a sword energy and this is a Pentacles energy, it's like you've been in your own head too much. You have really let yourself believe all those negative things that were available to believe, and have been taken off into this place where you just feel like you had to relent. Like it was time to, you just felt like you had to give up with this struggle. But what I'm getting through here is the inner power that you always had. Possibly you felt like a little bit like you were being like subjected to power that wasn't yours. And this is a message of, actually no, that power is within you too. Wherever you see this power, you're capable of having that type of power. Like, you are also part of the universe. It's not just something that happens to you. You're also part of this ecosystem. This has come to an end now. This is an invitation for you to move on into this. But yes, it's acknowledging that you have been feeling extremely stuck, and with good reason. This has been a very difficult journey to come to the end to, and I'm glad that it's coming to an end, because this Ace of Pentacles energy is so much more positive and healthy for you. It's funny as well, here with the Ten of Wands, we have a burdensome energy. I feel like this isn't the burdensome energy that like the Ten of Swords is showing up with. Here, this is indication of finding purpose and joy and community within hard work. And it's going to be meaningful work. Work that is meaningful for you is going to give you a higher life purpose, a sense of community, a sense of compassion. When you feel useful to other people, that gives you such a sense of self-knowledge that you are, you know, here, and that you are contributing, and that you have something of worth to provide other people with. Always give more than you're prepared to receive back, and give it, you know, with love and peace. The community here, for me, is really coming up with Ten of Wands and the delight. I feel like you're going to be working really, really hard, and that it's going to feel really good. I feel like you've been so stuck in your own system of trying to manage, and it's just not been getting the places it needs to be. This is telling me that there's just new opportunities, particularly with job opportunities coming, and that it's going to feel really important for you to go on this journey, and that hard work is going to come with such a sense of satisfaction. So I'm going to ask the cards one more time with the oracles. I would like to have a last piece of advice for our group 4 here, with how to let go of what they need to let go of, with, you know, becoming unstuck. I would like some advice, please, for group 4 about how to approach the next couple steps with this. Oh, they're being shy. Okay, who's here? Action! You know, they were being shy. My cards, they were taking their time to come up. I decided to choose one. take action, as it were, on the deck itself, and this has been rewarded with the message that we need to hear. You have to get yourself out of this one. That's what this is. This is time. New tactics, new direction. You have this within you. The best way for you to get out of this slump is to get into action, to get into moving through this yourself. Pick yourself up, take yourself towards these new opportunities which are waiting to be taken in the universe right now. There is something here behind this door that is going to really change your perspective on life and make you feel extremely needed and purposeful. And the only way to do that is to go and find it for yourself. Okay? So I hope that that was resonating with who it needed to resonate with. If you enjoyed my reading group 4, I would love you to subscribe and come back and join me again on my channel. I'm going to be uploading regularly and I would love to see you back here. Okay, bye. Hello group 5 and welcome to your reading for the question, what do I need to let go of right now? What is keeping me stuck? So the card that you were resonating with when you chose was 6 of Pentacles, and I've done some clarifying cards from the Oracle to work out exactly what direction you are currently in. And I must admit that I think that this reading overall has a theme of balance and searching for balance. You have So a lot of you are going to be quite young because there is a lot of child kind of like excitement, emotional energy coming up in this kind of area of the spread. There are themes of generosity, of taking stock, in coming into one's own intuition, and yet generally also a feeling of feeling overwhelmed. So I want to talk a little bit, first of all, about the feeling of feeling overwhelmed. It's coming through here with the 7 of Wands and the 9 of Swords on either side of our spread. Obviously centrally we have the 6 of Pentacles showing up, which is a really beautiful symbol of generosity. And I feel like you have been it's almost as if you're showing up in the world to other people as someone who's really dependable, and yet under the surface you have a lot of anxiety and worry happening. There is a childish energy here, and I don't mean childish in a bad way. It's like it's in a really good way. Like this can be, the 7 of Wands could be interpreted as like a joyful leap, like doing adventures and like movement, and there's like something exciting about it, and I'm seeing that side of it too, but I'm also aware that there does seem to be this idea that you have of feeling overwhelmed, and the best way to deal with it is by running away. And I think there is, I mean, that's only for some of you. For most of you, there really truly is coming up with like a feeling of adventure. Because the Page of Cups and the Delight card, which is clarifying both of these cards, is telling me that you do really have a lot of adventurous spirit in you, and that you do really enjoy connecting in with your inner feelings and with other people's inner feelings, and that you're a very emotive kind of person. I think for some people that they can find that a little like, you're emotive and you're connected and you're turning up in other people as dependable. But I feel like underneath this, there's some worries happening. So I wonder if this is why you're like, well, what's holding me back? Like, how do I become unstuck? There's definitely a feeling of taking yourself away into your own head too often in a way that's not actually productive. It's almost as if this openness energy comes through, like this generosity, this openness energy, they're talking to each other here for me. Sometimes you can be a little bit too generous with like your emotional energies, and I feel like you're feeling quite depleted from that right now. It can often happen with people who are very empathetic, that they feel a responsibility for other people's feelings, and I feel like that's coming across here. And it's like It's like not all of these worries are actually yourself, like your own worries, but they're other people's, and it's like you don't know how to help them, because usually you're quite a practical person who'd love to help other people, and it's almost as if you're sensing things from them and you're not actually able to do much about it, and this making you feel quite powerless. The Hermit card and the Openness card are interesting to me with this moon energy that's coming here. It feels very linked with the rest of your cards, because I think it's not just symbolizing you, it's symbolizing how you're feeling. It's like you have taken on other people's worries, and that has taken you into a place that you're a little bit like you're overwhelmed. What to do about that though? How do you become unstuck? You know, this is let me see about this as well. The standstill card here with the Six of Pentacles is quite curious. This is quite a convoluted spread, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot going on here. I hope that this is resonating, because I think it's going to take a little time to unpick some of these themes. There's just a lot going on. Six of Pentacles with the standstill, however. So I think you're reaching your limit to what you are prepared to do for other people. That it's not necessarily feeling like you're able to give so freely as you could before. And I think it's something you take pride in. It's something that you're really proud of yourself, that you're able to help other people. And it's something you're really quite good at. But it's something that you delight in, honestly, like coming to someone's rescue a little bit. But it's not serving you in the way that it was before. It's almost as if you reached your limit. I feel like I'm speaking to people here who have not been prioritizing their own health, mental, physical as well. Like there is a lot of themes of caring for other people, and it could be that you had to because that just was required, that the people that you were caring for were actually quite vulnerable and you really, really needed that help. But you've sort of turned in on yourself, and it's not feeling nice anymore. It's feeling like you don't know. It's like you've come to a standstill. That's coming up, but it's coming up here with the Nine of Swords as well. They're speaking to each other as well. And it's like you're just gazing into this beast of like horrid thoughts, without remembering that you actually are able to literally get up and move. And it's possible that you've taken yourself a little bit too inward as well, just because as a way of coping. And it's also, I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's required, I think, sometimes that we all take time alone, but it's almost as if you're shutting yourself off to even yourself, almost as if you've been too open and it's absorbed a bunch of stuff that you really just feeling a bit odd about. I want to get some clarification on the Oracle cards that have clarified the first line of this reading to see if I'm on the right track here. Oh no, yes, okay, yeah, okay. There's an awful lot going on here. Hold on a minute, I'm gonna do the others. You have one for standstill, please. Oh, you want this one? Okay, thank you. And another one for delight. Taking their time. This one's a little shy on this side, actually. It's curious to me. One with delight, please. Okay. Oh, cool. Right. Okay, so Page of Swords coming up here with delight, and Knight of Cups coming up here with standstill, Six of Pentacles, and the Tower coming up with openness, Nine of Swords, and the Hermit. Yeah, I mean, so there has been something abruptly, there has been abrupt change, and for many of you it would have been traumatic change, or change that came out of nowhere, like a massive surprise. Although I feel like with you guys, you had a sense that something was coming, that things were, the foundations of this particular issue were long overdue for a rebuild. And so that the collapse of things around you, it has felt quite predictable in a strange way, even though the Tower doesn't usually speak about predictable things happening. Usually it's something that comes out of nowhere. And I wonder if that's because partly you were operating from a place of openness, and so you had an inclination to listen to the things like in your intuition that were telling you that something wasn't right and that something was about to happen that wasn't very good and that was going to be quite a surprise. And there was just the feeling of overwhelmness and the feeling of feeling quite alone and quite in like connection with your intuition, and it not being a nice place to be is coming through here. I want to look at the rest of the cards as well with the Centrer. The Knight of Cups here with your Six... Oh gosh. The Knight of Cups here with your Six of Pentacles and the Standstill energy. Okay, so this is kind of interesting for me because we have this here card where they are literally linked. It's like a progression of maturity about how you're able to connect with people and how that's actually really improving. There's also a romantic energy with the Knight of Cups, which I think is worth commenting on. If you have been in a relationship with somebody who was needing you an awful lot and that you were able to provide them what they needed, I feel like that's for some of you, that's what we're talking about here. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't normally come up with a lot of like love readings. It's not really something that resonates very often with me. So I think that's worth commenting on here, that that's what's coming through. It's almost as if you've reached your limit with how much you're able to support somebody. But at the same time, I feel like you still have a lot more to give. And if anything, you've been learning how to be more generous within your relationships anyway. It doesn't have to be a love relationship, it can be other types of relationships, just so you know. It could be a friendship and things as well, or with a family member. It's like there's a maturity happened gradually over time. You've become much better at just being there for somebody emotionally. And I wonder what's going on here, why you're feeling stuck. I guess, have you reached your limit with this? It feels like that. It feels like that. Page of Swords for me, and I feel like this is an ultimate message about how to become less stuck and less like what you need to be letting go of. This is coming up here with the Swords energy here, okay? So yes, some things happened that has been out of your control, and you felt quite like surprised by it, and it's felt overwhelming. This Page of Sword energy is communicating here with this Nine of Swords and this Hermit energy coming through with delight. This is almost as if this is like the key to getting through this next section of your life. This is one of my favorite cards. The Page of Swords here, and I particularly like her because of the way that she has this sword, like she's about to like cut through this wing of this beast here that we see, and reveal that there was nothing there all along, that this was just this movement of butterfly energy that we also have moving through this deck, the suit of this deck. Pardon me. It's almost as if this is a reminder about the ways that you were working with this energetic child energy that you have and is still there, that you delight in helping yourself and other people to see and to connect and to go and do things that are good, and you have this generosity. And yes, right now you're feeling emotionally quite drained. This is a reminder about the tools that you have at your disposal. You are not in this situation should you choose not to be in this situation here with the Nine of Swords. You can mature into this Page of Swords energy here with this delight. This is the key to getting through this here. This Page of Swords energy is inviting you to take more control and to really actually combat these misbeliefs that you've set up in your head, that you're not capable, that you need to be on your own, that there's no one else that you can ask for help, that you're the person who helps everybody, and that you're not the person who goes to help. I feel like this is a reminder actually saying, you know what? You don't always have to be the person who's giving. You can be the person who's receiving. You have every right to be the person who's receiving. You know, like we cannot always be the person to rescue other people. They have to rescue themselves. And also we can in turn say, I need something to help me. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Things have been quite hard for me. I'm quite tired, and I don't want to go and retract into myself and fold in over myself. I feel like Page of Swords is an invitation for you to take stock of your own actions, your own way of thinking about this problem, and to try and see it from another angle. It's also an indication from the universe that this problem is not quite what it seems, and it might seem an awful lot worse than really what it is actually. But you're not going to know unless you combat it directly. So this is about not folding within yourself, not feeling paralyzed by the problem, accepting the change, being open to the change, using the inner strength that you have to emotionally engage with people, your natural generosity and your propensity for adventure, the fact that you delight in adventure normally when you are at full energy, and to combat your problem head on. I'm going to ask the Oracle for one. Oh my gosh, can I just say that this was on the bottom of the pack, which is Healing Chaos, and I feel like this is like the good version of the Tower card, and I think that is just confirming what I've just told you just now. I'm going to ask the Oracle card for one last message of advice going forward, for getting unstuck here, for letting go of what you need to let go of. Just to confirm, power, we have power. So this power is residing in you. It's residing in you. This is directly speaking to this Page of Swords energy right now. And it is talking about combating these problems head on and not becoming stuck in a way that you feel overwhelmed. It's almost as if, do you see? These cards are linked in here. This action of cutting through the problem and disregarding this feeling of paralysis, tapping into the inner power that you have to cope with this and to see it from a different angle and to try different ways of getting through it, and to think. It's actually, if anything, it's swords is another thing about thinking your way out of a problem and also talking your way out of a problem. I feel like talking to some people in your life who are available to give advice and resources to help you get through this is a really good method. I feel like you have been being a little bit, you've been giving too much, and maybe it's time for you to receive as well. But you also have the ability to get through this on your own should you wish to. So, thank you so much, Group 4. I hope that was resonating with who that needed to resonate with. If you enjoyed my reading and would like to see more, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you back. And until then, I'll see you later.